Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for one and only George Christoforou. He's a well-known risk manager. I must say that he's a very intellectual person. He's a very modest person. So let's say how our conversation begins and what we discuss. So George, can you please tell me about yourself?
First of all, hello and thanks for the invitation. Uh, I want to take also this opportunity to wish you good luck with your podcast.
Thank you.
Um, so, you've spelled my name correctly. I'm George Christoforou.
Thank you very much, Mira. I was really.
So
Thank you.
I work in the energy industry, especially in oil, for the last 10 years. I'm in the role of the risk manager and specifically the market risk, um, which is where I'm for the last 10 years, as I said, and based in Cyprus, in the East Med. So, yeah, that's more or less who I am.
Thank you for the introduction, man. Thank you for the introduction. So, George, how you decided to come in this field?
So, basically, I studied maths, which is, I think, one of the prerequisites
Okay,
to be in the risk management spectrum.
okay,
Um, and how the interest came in while I was
yeah,
at the university, I was doing my final year presentation on
okay,
the projects on chaos theory.
okay,
So basically, the real lesson came during the presentation. I had tested everything the day before, slides, code, all working perfectly. But on the day, nothing ran. So I had to present entirely from memory without visuals. That experience taught me something fundamental, that in risk management, you cannot anticipate everything, but you must be ready for anything.
yeah, for
So
sure.
from that moment, I finished the university. I went into the a company, was a CFD broker in Cyprus again. So there I was introduced to many aspects of the financial markets, like indices, FX, equities, commodities.
Okay,
And from there, I naturally gravitated into commodities because, I'm more running towards complexity, and
okay,
because commodities and especially oil and energy is the most um, entangled, geopolitically entangled field,
yeah.
and the structurally complex market. And that's where I found my passion, basically, in the energy business.
Okay, many students don't find their passion in final year.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
and what you have mentioned that means there was a saint in our India. His name was Swami Vivekanand. What he used to tell, a day without mess is not your day.
Okay.
Yeah, every day you have to face hot situation, right?
Yes, a bit.
So there you get the zeal to solve the problems.
Hmm.
Because a man without problems is not a true man.
And
Everyone.
sometimes you need to, create the problem in order to solve it. To give yourself some meaning.
Some kick, right? Yeah, some
Yeah.
kick. Yeah, exactly. Means in the same way that if you are a good swimmer and you are swimming in a, say, like very normal sea, no turbulence is there. So you'll not be a good swimmer, man. Means you will not feel that
You'll get bored.
joy. Yeah, you will get bored. Exactly, you will get bored. So from your beginning, you were very happy to solve all the problems and you were not averse to risk, right? What I'm getting.
Yes. Yes. I run towards problems and complexity, not away.
My God, my God. So you love complexities and you love to solve those complexities, right?
Solve and puzzle. It's not some of the problems. Some of the biggest problems in the world right now are unsolvable. So you have to unpiece them in order to find solutions. So I like to do that part. To go and take a deep dive into the problems.
Okay, okay, okay. So I want to go in, means I want to touch the depth of this, means how, what's your process, means what's your modus operandi to solve this problem, is to solve these complexities.
Um,
Means did you segregate those problems into a specific task, or means it's like one in a go?
it depends on the task, really. So
Yeah,
basically, there are tasks. For example, going specifically into the role of risk. Risk is about numbers, basically.
yeah,
So some of the problems of risk you solve with numbers and with automating processes.
yeah,
So, for example, there's a lot of automation using AI, using coding, using all this kind of fancy stuff that we came across, in the recent past.
yeah.
Uh, so basically, it's a whole new field. That
Okay,
complexity also lurks there, and
okay.
every time on each specific task, you have to unpack it and try to solve it. And by all means, you don't have to rely fully on just to, not to say the wrong thing here. You don't have to rely on AI and automation to do the task for you, because
Exactly. Yeah.
you also have to rely on on yourself, on
Yeah.
how you get experience over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think emotions works more than motion.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we human beings have emotion, but AI only have motion. What you
Yes.
will prompt, he'll give that answer.
Indeed. Indeed.
Indeed. Yeah. Nice, 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 nice insight, man. Nice insight. So what you are basically saying that uh, same, matlab likewise in our ETRM and CTRM is why matters a lot, right? Why you want to solve a problem.
Um, Again, ETRM and CTRM
Yeah.
involves too many functions.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a platform that involves too many functions and
Exactly.
data input from too many functions.
Okay.
So that that thing on its own, that complexity of people that are that need to be synchronized, that need to have a perfect input. Otherwise, one thing, one minor thing that you cannot anticipate might go wrong and cascade everything in your structure.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
this is
Leads
the
to
kind of
disaster. Yeah.
complexity. This is the kind of complexity that you have to, tame like an animal.
You have to tame a wild animal, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I just want to means get a viewpoint from you, means what you have learned from this field and what you have inculcated in your life.
All these systems, all this, it so I'll take this from the beginning. So all
Yeah.
these ETRM systems and CTRM systems are uh it's it's more or less a deal capture system from
Okay.
front office to back office. But we're now dealing with, I mean, for the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years,
Yeah.
we're dealing with increasing complexity.
Yeah.
Not
After COVID, right?
specifically
After COVID.
after COVID, yeah, I would say, yeah. From the integration of renewables and carbon markets, COVID, geopolitical shifts,
Yeah.
uh, physical supply chains.
Yeah.
So traditional risk frameworks and even many TRM systems
Okay.
were not
Mm.
built
Correct.
for this level of dynamics.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, and above all, you always have to have a framework like an enterprise risk management framework
Correct.
that has to lie above your systems. So, as I said before, your system is capturing some things,
Correct.
but it doesn't capture the um, high level, how to say it, goals of the company, the high level structures in the company. It doesn't capture that, and it cannot
Yeah.
capture that. It's not its role.
Yeah.
So you have to have parallel systems. One of them is the ETRM, which needs to evolve into, you know, to keep pace with the market and with the world. And the other thing that needs to be kept in place is the enterprise risk management framework.
Okay.
And these two need to be, adaptive to each other. Each one speaks to the other and reflects and adapts, not
Okay.
automatically, but with the input of people in the company, of course.
Exactly. 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 Very well. Very well perceived. Very well perceived. So George means how you people means go into the depth of risk means how you analyze risk means people say that risk can be quantified, documented, mitigated. Exactly means
There are a lot of measures where you can quantify risk,
yeah.
and there are a lot of types of risk. One of them is market risk, for example. Another is credit risk. Another is operational. So there, and we're now introduced in the recent years with new paradigms of risk, like climate risk, like cyber risk, like uh, you name it. I mean,
Yeah.
geopolitical risk, supply chain risk, whatever. So each one of these drivers, risk drivers, is having
Yeah.
its own measures, and the whole a whole let's say academic literature behind how we measure each risk. And another layer of bridging all these drivers into one unified risk, maybe that's quantifiable. But I want to take a step back
Yeah.
uh, from risk drivers and ETRM systems and go into simple idea on
Mhm.
how we quantify risk and how we work on a daily basis, for example. So
Yeah.
I have a very recent example
Yeah.
uh, that highlights the balance between data and intuition.
Mm.
So my team and I were testing cleared the initial margin across three different portfolios, for example.
Mhm. Mhm.
And also for one combined portfolio, merging all the positions together. So
Mm.
uh, we ran a 2-year historical period, and
Mhm.
we automated the entire process through a script.
Mm.
Okay, so at one
Mhm.
point
Mhm.
when we finished the task,
Yeah.
we noticed a stretch of consecutive dates where the margin for the netted position
Yeah.
was greater than the sum of the gross margin, which is by definition not possible. Okay,
Okay.
but the data gave us this.
Okay.
So the numbers were technically correct,
Okay.
but it didn't feel right.
Oh.
So it was that gut feeling that pushed us to dig deeper. And sure enough, it turned out to be a structural issue in the
Oh.
way netting was handled during that specific window from the exchange itself. So
Oh.
you don't only need to rely on numbers and tools that you have to analyze numbers like
Okay.
AI or coding or etc. You also you need to use your gut feeling.
Okay. So means risk management is what I have learned. That means it's a blend of hard data and gut feeling, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. Very, very well explained, man. Very well explained. Very well explained. I mean, sometimes intuition also works, right?
Not on its own,
Yeah.
you need to back it up with data
Yeah.
somehow.
Need to blend it with data. Yeah. Intuition blend with data. Yeah.
Yes, it's a mixture that you need to take into account.
Okay, okay. Perfect.
Because
Perfect.
anyway, risks, financial risks, let's say, are
Yeah.
coming up as new um, every day. So you cannot anticipate something. I started with an example at my university where I was prepared for something, and
Yeah.
yet it turned out that I was not prepared.
Okay.
So all new risks are coming up every day, but
Yeah.
you cannot anticipate something that you don't know.
Yeah.
So you that's the blend of intuition and data.
Yeah. 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 In India, there is one where there is risk, there is love.
Okay. You have a lot of good sayings in India, huh? There is risk in love and love in risk.
Yeah. 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 My Lord. God. That's the good. So, what about AI and automation? Did AI and automation plays a vital role in risk management, or they have degraded the quality of? Means what you have just told me means it's a blend of hard data and intuition.
Uh, Based on that example I shared, it's a
Yeah.
reminder that there's a huge role for human judgment still.
Okay.
Um, AI can help scale
Okay.
decision making, basically. But human oversight becomes more, not less, important when systems get complex. And we're seeing complexity evolving, not devolving. So
Okay.
there's a ever increasing need and room for human judgment.
Yeah. 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 That's what I've told you previously. That humans are emotions, and machines are just motions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You, of course, AI and coding and automation are there. These are tools that you need to be equipped with.
Hmm.
You need to be equipped, and
Yeah.
for a risk management nowadays to be successful, uh, he needs to be complete in the sense that he needs to he or she needs to be equipped with a lot of things: theoretical knowledge, risk
Exactly.
management, coding knowledge, climate. I mean, scientific knowledge in general.
For sure.
It's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked.
Yeah. Lot of boxes that need to be ticked. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right, right. Perfect. Does AI have future? Means does AI have future in our market? Means ETRM and CTRM means, or
Of
or
course,
you think
has.
it will govern the market as before?
No, of course it has. But as I said before, you need to tame it.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to tame it. Yeah. It's a wild and
It's a very, very wild animal, and it's a very dangerous animal also.
yeah.
So from from the data management point of view,
Yeah.
it's a quite powerful tool, of course. And data is the petrol of our era. So
Oil, like they say.
yeah, exactly. So it's not only that the more data you have, the more successful you are, because you need to You need to make a story of the data.
Yeah,
If you cannot make a story of the data and they're just data and it's all over the place and you cannot control them or, you know, uh, extract information, necessary information from the
exactly.
data, then even if you have the highest end AI tools,
Mm,
if you cannot use them correctly,
mm,
speaking individually per firm, but also for the industry as well,
mm,
then it's a waste. So
mm.
you have to know how to work with it.
Yeah, it seems like that you have identified a coal mine, but you don't know the process to extract coal from that mine.
Mm. Not myself. I mean, in general.
In general, means I'm giving you an example.
Yes, indeed. So basically, you have again, you have to know the animal that you're taming.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. That was the right usage of word. What animal you need to tame. Yeah, exactly. So suppose any what piece of advice you want to give to any youngster who wants to enter in this field, means what piece of advice you want to give?
Mm.
If if in a very layman terms, means what all are the to dos if he or she wants to enter in this field, how they'll gonna prepare themselves.
Uh, as I said, technical skills is essential
Yeah.
in risk. So
Okay.
being good with numbers,
Okay.
having the theoretical background of risk management,
Okay.
uh, academically, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very good thing. Understanding the instruments, the models, the systems. Uh, but I think what takes people apart, especially in this time during high stake environments,
Yeah.
um, is the ability to stay calm,
Mm.
think think systematically in a systems perspective,
Okay.
and see beyond the obvious. Obvious. What I mean obvious is beyond numbers, beyond the technical, beyond the foundational. Um, you know, it's a story making process. So you have to also be creative.
Okay. So what you are telling, just ability to see undisclosed things, right?
Yeah. And to see what's not seen.
From the naked eyes,
Yes.
from mind.
It's a foresight. Basically, not in the foresight sense of word, but you know, all these geopolitical shifts that we're encountering now. What helped me a lot
Yeah.
because I have a hobby which is reading. Okay,
Oh,
um, I constantly read books, and I read books about history and politics. So, and this also helped me to pause and reflect, especially in high intense times during Russia Ukraine conflict, where
okay.
everything was skyrocketing and all over the place. So
Yeah.
I was pausing and reading my books in my own
Okay.
time
Okay.
to reflect how past conflicts unraveled, how always reflecting on history helps, gives you perspective.
Yeah. For sure. History gives you a perspective. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So this is what I mean, going beyond the obvious. The obvious is what you read also in the news, in the mainstream news, but you have to have some intuition that's built up through
Yeah.
lessons from history.
So what you are telling that one need to derive something fruitful from the history.
Yes.
That was their mind, and based on their gut feeling and blend of hard data, they need to execute the things, right?
You merged everything in in one sentence. Very good.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So George means if any youngster means suppose he he just got passed from a college, right?
Okay.
But he's a very risk averse person.
Okay. So basically, the company has each company has a risk appetite.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And if it's well documented
yeah.
in terms of um, what kind of trades are you able to do, which limits are you able to have, um, who does what, uh, it doesn't it it doesn't get mingled with your own risk profile. You
Mm,
just have to follow that company's profile. Um, so that being said, the ETRM space is a very, very good and rich space that you learn a lot. Not only ETRM, CTRM, because we were talking about oil and energy, but it's more general. I mean, commodities is a very interesting field in general.
exactly.
Each with its own dynamics, of course. But it's a very interesting field. So if I had a youngster who was uh looking into going into ETRM systems and CTRM systems, I would definitely uh, advise them to go into that without taking into account their risk profile. The risk profile is getting built up and changed through time. So you might be now a risk taker, and in the future, when you get hit,
Yeah,
you become risk averse, and vice versa.
yeah, exactly, 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 exactly. The temperament will change.
Yeah, of course. The
What do you
circumstances, the circumstances will make you change.
exactly means you need to hold your nerves according to circumstances.
Yeah, of course.
And what I have understood that you should be a liquid means means in whatever flask.
I
Yeah,
understand what you mean, liquid. You have to, adapt.
adapt. Yeah, yeah, in terms of adaptability. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You are saying that you need to mold yourself according to your company, not according to your nature, right?
Yes, because anyway, you can keep your nature to yourself. If it
Exactly.
doesn't, if it doesn't, if the risk appetite of the company you're working with is not affecting your nature and vice versa, then it's fine. Maybe it's a state of mind that I have to love what I do, not to get, um, um, not to get upset. So I have this in my nature, maybe. But in general, you have to love what you do, even if it's sports, even if it's whatever occupation you have.
Anything. Yeah, yeah,
Don't you love your job? I mean,
yeah.
you would not be doing it if you didn't love it.
So can you please tell me for sure ki, what CTRM and ETRM is all about?
So basically, let's start from the acronym. CTRM
Exactly.
stands for uh, commodity trading and risk management, and ETRM is energy trading and risk
Yeah.
management. So um, it's a platform that people from traders, physical traders, let's take energy, ETRM.
Yeah.
It's traders, physical traders that are doing some deals, buying from one place and selling to another, let's say, or uh, refineries or producing companies
Okay.
um, that enter this kind of deal into a system
Okay.
for every other function in the company to see and act on it. So basically, your your physical traders are the front personnel, front office, personnel.
Mm-hmm.
You have, let's say, a middle office, which is the risk management desk, which
Mm-hmm.
are people who will set the limits. There might be instances where risk managers are hedging exposure, capturing P&L, reporting the P&L, and this process goes all the way to the back office, so to finance, to all this stuff. So it's a it's a process front to end that captures all the necessary details that keep a company like this working.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, so there are, for ETRM, there are vendor-based platforms that you can go out in the world and find several vendors and buy a license of an ETRM system that you will bring into the company and start working on it. Or you can build all these processes back and forth, front to end, in-house. That's still an ETRM system.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
Okay.
it's a it's a process. It's a platform that captures front to end as a process.
Okay. 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 Very well explained, man. Very well explained. Very well explained. So you have used the word risk management
Mhm.
numerous times. Means what's the role of risk management in energy and this CTRM and ETRM?
Okay, so in terms of risk management comes into several uh, aspects. One of them is the market risk. So market risk is let's say you're a broker. You buy oil from one place and sell it to another.
Yeah.
From the moment you buy it until the moment you sell it, there's a fluctuation in prices.
Yeah.
So if you want to lock the margin of your sale compared to the cost of your buying,
Mhm.
uh, you need to do something to lock your prices so they don't fluctuate. So that's part of market risk, which is part of risk management.
Okay.
Uh, Another thing is credit risk, which is another part of risk management, which is measuring um, probability that the counterparty of yours will default,
Okay.
um, and the exposure of your company when that counterparty defaults, for example.
Okay.
Or last but not least, these are the traditional risk drivers that existed for I don't know how many decades. And last but not least is operational risk, which are just for an example.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, let's say that you're on the exchange and you want to hedge your exposure, your
Okay.
physical exposure.
Yeah.
And let's say that you need to buy 3,000 tons, metric tons of
Mm-hmm.
X instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And by mistake, instead of buying that quantity, you sell it.
Oh,
Or instead of buying 3,000, you buy 30,000.
so that's a
So
blunder, right?
that's called the fat finger
Okay.
and error, and it's in the realm of operational risk, which is part again
Okay.
of risk management. So risk management has a lot of drivers. I mentioned three: market risk, credit risk, operational risk, which are the mainstream, let's say. And each of them has its own bullet points, let's say, of identification, identifying a risk, measuring it, and acting upon it. So this is basically the role of risk management. And again, it's based on the appetite of the company you're working with.
Mm.
Because some companies have appetite for uh, uh, bigger market risk.
Yeah.
Some companies might have appetite for no hedging.
Mm.
Some companies have appetite for hedging. So it all depends on the structure of your company, what your um w- how hungry is the company, let's say, for risk.
How for risk, for risk. For example, one person can eat one hamburger, another can eat two. Just please carry on.
And that's why I said before that it doesn't relate to your own nature.
Yeah. That's what you told us previously. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on company's profile and company's risk appetite.
Yeah. As long as it does not affect your own nature.
Yeah. Okay. So what all are the challenges which you think that our industry, ETRM and CTRM gonna face in coming future?
Uh
Because as you told us previously, means ETRM and CTRM is full of challenges. Means it's an industry made up of challenges.
um I would say that if one of the challenges now that ETRM space is
Facing.
facing is uh, adaptation to more complex data. So,
Okay.
for example, uh, regulation is getting, especially in Europe,
Yeah.
is getting more complex and more. There are a lot of boxes that you need to tick at
Hmm.
all times, so it gets more complex. So, an ETRM system that is adaptive along with its external environment in
Hmm.
terms of compliance
Okay.
uh, is one of the challenges that the industry has to face up front.
Hmm.
And as I said again, especially in Europe.
Okay, especially in Europe.
Uh, and why I say about Europe, because it's the continent that goes into renewable energy and the green transition with full speed.
Okay.
So even if it's realistic or not, that's not the discussion here.
Hmm.
But you need to take into account what's the regulation that that you need to comply with, and
Hmm.
ever it's evolving on a daily basis. I mean, it's ongoing. The moment that you adapt on one thing, another thing comes up.
Okay.
So regulation is adapting to regulation is one big challenge. Adapting to the green transition is another challenge. Having live data, so for example, renewable energy is a live. You need live feeds.
Hmm.
So having let's say the batteries in your system to be able to run on live feeds, it's a major challenge.
Yeah.
And the third thing I would like to mention is um, the whole energy. If we separate ETRM from CTRM and talk only about ETRM, so that's energy. Energy is now becoming more complex in general because you have renewables coming in, batteries coming in, a whole new system of electricity coming in.
Yeah.
So a lot of infrastructure that needs to be fed into your databases, into your systems via API, via whatever, um, and need to be captured correctly into your P&Ls.
Hmm.
So ETRM systems and CTRM systems, they're not, as I said before, they're not built for these dynamics.
Okay.
They need to evolve. And this is becoming, this is the picture now. And these are the current challenges the ETRM space is facing now.
Okay.
Yes,
It's same like means change is also inevitable and challenges are also inevitable.
of course. Everywhere, and always.
Means if there's a fight between experience versus talent, who will win?
Okay, you need both, I think. You need both.
Okay.
And it all turns out on what's missing from your team.
Mm.
So for example, if you have a team, let's say you're a team of 20 or 5 or whatever number, and
Yeah.
you have the full number of persons being talents and no experience,
Yeah.
then you end up, I don't know, one fighting with the other, and I mean, you need both. You need the balance of everything.
What I think is if a person is a experienced person, he's a blend of both smart work and hard work.
Um, Not necessarily. Maybe eh, it's a blend of everything. Not only these two. Maybe, maybe he. I don't know. There's no fight. I would say there's no fight between those two.
Is what
One
I have
is
sorry is what I have seen over course of time that talented guy thinks himself as a very smart guy.
and vice versa. The experienced guy thinks that he's seen all. So
Exactly. Exactly.
so each and every situation comes with pros and cons. I mean, it's more a situational issue rather than um, a substance issue.
Exactly.
So
So we
we can't
can't
just
generalize.
you
We
need
can't.
both. You need both.
Okay. So we can't generalize both, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And especially now that AI is progressive and very fast.
Yeah.
Um, what I would dare to say is that uh, there's more talent that you need instead of
Okay.
experience, because experience, um, it's in the past, and the past changes very rapidly. So this
Yeah.
past might be a very far away past. So I would give a minor pitch to talents instead of experience. A minor pitch.
Yeah. Got your point. Got your point. So what do you think means AI gonna cut the jobs in near future?
Ah, no, we've crossed this subject. I told you that uh, you need human intuition.
Mm.
The
Mm.
more you have
Yeah.
complexity into the systems, and it's evolving as we've discussed, the more humans you need.
Actually, that was the very common question
Yeah.
which youngsters used to ask me is, what's the role of AI means, how it will affect in jobs and all means. That's what.
Okay, it depends on jobs. So, for example, mundane tasks that can be automated without human intervention and without human insight, of course, is gonna be automated with AI. But the uh, premise that AI is gonna take all of the people's jobs is not realistic.
And I'm pretty sure that in this industry, ETRM, CTRM means AI will not gonna cut any job.
It's gonna cut some, of course, it's gonna cut some. That, I mean, mundane task that you repeat every day and you can automate and you can extract no insights can be automated, of course. Now, how these people that are gonna, you know, uh, cut these tasks, what they're gonna do, um, it depends on the situation. Again, it's situational. Are these people gonna be retrained? Are they already getting retrained? Is the company trying to retrain them? Is the country they're sitting trying to retrain them? It's a very complex equation.
Okay, okay. So, George, how you see yourself as a person when you were in final year of your college and now?
Um,
Equal one.
Speaking that I'm running towards complexity, I find today myself in the center of complexity. So I am in a good place.
Okay, okay. In a perfect place, rather.
Yes. It's not a perfect, it's interesting place.
Yeah.
I like to see how the stories get unfolded, especially in geopolitics, because that's affecting um, what's affecting our industry, our markets, our
Mm,
everyday life. So it's a very interesting thing to see how things get unfolded, especially through the lens of complexity.
mm. But many companies right now means they struggle to make risk insights and all means where's the fault? Where they are
Process.
lack process. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, when the conflict of Russia and Ukraine started,
Okay.
everything has changed in terms of prices volatility, in terms of
Mhm.
supply chains, instead of compliance, sanctions, really this and that, everything changed. So what keeps you solid
Okay.
is process through people, process through coordination, process through ETRM systems. That everything needs to be in a place where it speaks to you. That's
Okay.
internal, of course. The external environment, okay, it's unpredictable. Okay, no one can say for sure that I know tomorrow the world is gonna be this. Especially nowadays, with a tweet, you can change the market upside down. So you cannot anticipate anything, but you have to be solid inside, internally, at
Mm.
least. Without this, you're busted. In 1, 2 moments, you're busted.
Cool. And how you see this year, 2025?
We, uh, there was a report from International Energy uh, Agency. It's an organization in France, which issued a report of the world going into net zero by 2050. Okay.
Okay.
In that report, there are a lot of you know s- um, a lot of scenario on each of the products that, for example, oil that needs to be minimized, the hydrogen being raised, etc. So it's about 400 pages report, which is very analytic, very beautifully stated. A lot of people have worked on this report. It's a very nice report, but there is an assumption
Mm.
for net zero to happen, and all these that are stated in the report, um, the world needs to see unprecedented coordination and cooperation.
Perfect. Very well said.
So,
Very well.
so That's why if we need to see our planet going into the right direction, or if we need to see our countries, our everyday life, our the world, global affairs, if we really need to for them to be in the right direction, we have to speak to each other. We have to cooperate. There's no other way.
Exactly, exactly. Its first and foremost gap is communication gap only.
Yeah. Not a decision making gap, a communication gap.
Communication gap. Yeah, yeah. Something more. There is also a life beyond work. What do you think?
Yes, there is. Family is a good driver
Yeah.
that helps you reflect things. Um, your own time. So, for example, I like to read. That's my hobby, as I said before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, that's how I pause and reflect and get perspective. So this is basically, yeah. Tell me.
Sorry to interrupt you in between, but people find reading as a very boring thing, man.
Because they didn't find the first book that interests them.
Okay.
So I started reading and going deep into reading when I was in university.
Okay.
So I was like 20. It's not that I hated books before, but it was not my thing, let's say. And it helps having a bookcase in your house, especially if you have kids. They need to see these examples that you pick a book from the. I have it, yeah, probably. That you can pick a book from the bookcase, and it's a nice thing to do um, when you're stressed, when you need perspective, when you need new perspectives. Sometimes you're stuck. Your thought is stuck. Some people are, they find new perspectives by talking a lot with people. There are other tasks that you can do to get new perspective, but that's my thing. And reading through history helps me in this tension through geopolitics very much.
Exactly.
And also again, family. Family is a very, very, very solid thing.
And sometimes you learn lesson from book also.
Of course. That things you don't know anything. You don't know everything, sorry. And the mainstream media, sometimes they're not gonna tell you what needs to be told. You
Exactly.
find some insights. I'm not gonna use the word truth. Some insights that you might find in some good writers or some good books.
And as the saying goes, that life is too short to hear many things.
Yeah. Yes.
Books means books are your great companions, I think.
Yes. They are indeed.
So how you reduce your tension means what's the one trick you implement to reduce your stress? As nowadays youngsters are very stressed. They are not bored, they are stressed.
Hear your inner self.
Okay. Very
So whatever you want, you desire. As when I was in high school, there was something that we needed to write as an essay, and it was a subject of the generation gap.
mm,
So I am, let's say, born in the 90s. So the gap between kids of the 90s and parents, it's where it started to, get widened. Uh, Whereas parents and grandparents at that time, there was a minor gap, generation gap. And even before that, there was no generation gap at all. So as we grow older, as generations are passing by, that generation gap is getting bigger and bigger because the structures that the world is based on are changing in a faster way that the world has wisdom, not smartness, wisdom to grasp.
Yes. Very.
We can talk for ages, this
Yeah.
philosophical.
So, lastly, I would like to ask one thing more. If you get a magic wand,
Mhm.
what you gonna do, man?
In the industry, because I love complexity and uh, systems that are adaptive. If I had this magic wand, I would build a trade or risk engine, let's say, or an ETRM platform that's governed through adaptation, through um, you know, make it like a living organism. Uh, that is getting data inputs and outputs in automated procedures with human intervention, of course, and it relates directly with companies or an industry's enterprise risk management framework. So this is what I would do. What I would do in the industry.
Straight, yeah. And what about life? And life, what you will change? Or life is good?
Life is good. Life is good. um, Life is good. What I would do is, uh, if I had a magic wand for the world, I would make people in the highest um, seats of power talk to each other.
Communication gap again.
Yes.
You will reduce the communication gap. Or you will nullify this communication gap, right?
And nullify, you cannot nullify, you always have it and you will always have it.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's why you always have to monitor this communication gap, and you always have to, you know, try to not minimize, try to, make this, it's just a conversation. You have a different view of uh something, I have a different view of something. It's not like I'm gonna impose you my view of this something, and either will you. So we have to, you know, survive with this something having two interpretations.
Here
Simple as
also,
that.
here also you have implemented your theories, risk mitigation and communication gap mitigation.
Yes.
Yeah, on this note, thank you, George, for very nice conversation. Means it was a very good conversation. Means
It's actually
uh,
it was actually very good from my side as well.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we agreed in having a podcast of less time,
exactly,
but it ended up with almost 1.5 hours. So
exactly. That was
so
the beauty of podcast.
yeah, so I think we enjoyed it both, and
That's
I hope that the people that watched us are finding this insightful as well.
exactly. Formal,
Yes.
and it's very kind of you. Means that you have given us
And with this opportunity, again, I would like to wish you good luck and all the best to all your upcoming podcasts. And I hope that you give and your invitees are sharing their insights so that people get to know this beautiful industry.
Okay, thank you, George. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your endurance.
Thank you, Anubhav.
And wish you best luck.
Thank you very much, Anubhav. Appreciate it. All the best to you as well.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.